Hi everyone, I'm Reverend Elizabeth Cantey. I'm speaking for the Center for Spiritual Living Jacksonville this morning. And this month our theme is unchained spirituality, untethered spirituality, unbounded spirituality. So we are really diving deep this month into the essence of who and what we are and where our life begins and ends. It is in spirit, in God. So the theme for this week is freedom, personal and spiritual freedom. So what is personal freedom? Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 states, "Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it shall be opened to you. For everyone that asks receives, and everyone that seeks will find. And to them that knock, it shall be opened." That sounds like an amazing freedom, doesn't it? If you just ask, it's given. You knock. You look at a door of opportunity, knock, and it is open for you. And I can tell you in my personal life, that has not always been the case, right? I haven't experienced that kind of freedom all the time. Mainly because as I look back now, I was praying to that God outside of myself, like Santa Claus. Maybe that God would find me worthy to give me this gift or this morsel or open that door. I've changed my beliefs quite a bit now. But still, that verse, oh, what power, what freedom in that, right? I have come to the idea that personal freedom is the ability to express ourselves fully and freely, to be able to be in the environments that we are allowed to express who and what we are fully and freely. That would include to understand our personal passions and desires so that we can become a unique expression of our passions and desires, right? To be surrounded by relationships that allow us to be our authentic selves. So we're not hiding, we're not pretending, we're not always stuck in the role of mother or daughter or employer, all these roles that we play, but to be our authentic selves. And to have the health that allows us to move about in this life easily and effortlessly. To work in the manner that brings us pleasure and reward mentally, emotionally, and of course, financially. And to spend our free time doing things that bring us joy and fulfillment, and to financially be able to afford those things, right? Personal freedom. Sounds like heaven on earth, right? So, that came up a lot for me this month. At the same time, there was an idea of, well, what is spiritual freedom? Is it different? Is it the same? And I had to think about it, meditate, pray a little bit. And some things came to me. One thing that came across my path was very, very interesting. It is that Thomas Merton said, perfect spiritual freedom is the total inability to make an evil choice. That's interesting. But here we have to look at the word evil. What it means. We all know it means, the opposite of good. It's morally wrong. But here in this instance, we can substitute the word evil with going against our true nature, our divine nature. So what he's saying is that perfect spiritual freedom is the total inability to make a choice or decision that goes against our true nature. So when everything we desire is truly good and every choice not only aspires to that good, but attains it, then we are free. Because we do everything that we want, and every act of our will ends in perfect fulfillment. So we're satisfied. with every choice and everything we do. What would our life be like if every choice we made was a healthy choice? If every choice we made was aligned with our true nature? If every choice that we made resulted in fulfillment and peace for us and everyone around us? That's exciting, right? That's freedom. When we commune with Spirit, when we meditate, when we become very close to God, to Source, when we can feel the presence of God within, then we can align with Source, with Spirit within us. And we are aligning with our highest good, our highest expression, and we become free in that moment. We realize that in this communion, we are not and have never been bound by our past. Right? We're not bound by the mistakes that we've made, by our limited vision, by our indecisions, anything we've ever done. We are not bound by past precedent. Just as our great country was not bound by its past when it declared its freedom in 1776. When we meditate or commune with Spirit, we begin again. In that moment is the moment we are alive and renewed each and every time we connect with our Source. We become inspired. And if you know that word, it means in Spirit. We gather energy and the resources from within. We become enthusiastic. Enthused is entheos, the Greek word for God, in God. So when we commune with Spirit and are aligned with our highest good, we are guided to love. So how does this affect the points that we talked about earlier with personal freedom? Well, when we commune with Spirit and are aligned with our highest good, we are guided to love ourselves and bless those unique gifts and passions that we bring to the world. We move forward in our relationships with the intention of communicating as Spirit in an atmosphere of love and support and mutual admiration, regardless of what relationship it is. We're guided to our best health at every stage of our lives, and we are inspired to maintain this gift of health. We choose work that satisfies and fulfills us, and if it doesn't, we are guided and directed from within to change, to search for another job, a career, or a path. When we are in line with Spirit, with Source, God, we spend our time doing things that we enjoy with people we enjoy, and we have, of course, the financial resources to do this. So similar, right? These ideas that came to me of a personal freedom and a spiritual freedom, freedom out in the world of effects and freedom within. So how do we align these two ideas of personal freedom and spiritual freedom? And of course, what came to me, one of my favorite sayings, Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added to you." Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added to you. This is the combination, the secret of the two, the answer to experiencing personal freedom in the world of effects, as well as the spiritual freedom, being aligned with Source, never making a decision that goes against our true nature. But when we understand that the kingdom of heaven is at hand now, Jesus said it often, it is at hand now in this very moment, the moment it takes for us to turn within, silence the mind, silence the overload of tech information social media, maybe even the voices in our household, when we take that moment to go within, the kingdom of heaven is available right now, right here. And when we understand that the kingdom of heaven is within, when we are silent and communing with Source, we can sense and feel it. It's not some abstract idea. It is within, and we can sense and feel it. Then we know that the kingdom of heaven is a state of consciousness. It is a state of awareness of the true nature of our being, in which we recognize our oneness with the all. So meditation and prayer connects us with God, the ultimate reality. We are not attempting to change God's mind about us or about the situations, events, and circumstances in our lives. We are attempting to commune with Spirit so that we can be in alignment with our unique expression of God, with the truth of our being, the truth of our life, the truth of the events and circumstances and relationships of our life, so that we can see a bigger picture, which will always contain more joy, more peace, more love, more health, more well-being, which will contain always more freedom. And with that freedom comes power, the power to change and to do the things we need to do. So all this has come to me this week. And of course, I'm doing a lot of work around the racial tensions that are evolving, that have been evolving for quite a long time, the racial inequalities that exist in our governments, our organizations, our communities right now. There is and has been a discrepancy. And in my quest to acknowledge not only the truth of the discrepancies, the truth of the racism, the truth of white privilege, white fragility, Black Lives Matter, all of these things, it has opened my heart and my mind and my soul and my spirit to remember the truth of my being is not necessarily just me. The truth of one is the truth of all. If one is held down, if one life doesn't matter, if one life, if one race, if one aspect of our communities is being held down and put down politically through old laws and systems, in organizations, in families, if one life is held back, all lives are held back. Even as Jesus said, as one is lifted, all are lifted. Therefore, each one of us cannot stop with our own personal sense of freedom, even our own spiritual sense of freedom, which, wow, is mind-blowing. But using that power, that strength, that knowledge, that all will be added as I seek first the kingdom of heaven. All will be added. That means for me, everything I need to help create the world that works for everyone, not for the few. A world that works for every race, every color, every community, and not the few. That I am filled with the power and the passion to help create these change, even though right now I don't know what that looks like. But I know that as I stand in the kingdom of heaven, all this will be added to me and to you. We are powerful, powerful beings. We are more powerful than anything that has taken place in the past. We are not bound by our precedent as a country, as a community, and certainly as a person. We can grow and change. And I just invite you, in your search of freedom, those personal freedoms, those spiritual freedoms, to seek first the kingdom of heaven. Seek first, knowing that all else, the health that you need, the relationships you need, the unique gifts of expression, the passion that you need, the joy, everything you need, the support that you need will be added to you just by that simple act of seeking first. We stop looking at what has already been created in the world. We know that there's problems there. And we start looking at creating the changes that create a world that work for everyone. I hope you join me this week in your spiritual practices. Just ramp it up, that unchained spirituality, and let it guide and direct you into helping create this world that works for everyone. I know that you are blessed. I know that right where you are, God is. You are standing on holy ground, and the kingdom of heaven is within you right here and now. It is within me. And where two or more are gathered with the intention of creating the world that works for everyone, it is done. It is created. We can see it and sense it. And now we step out. We speak up. And we stand in this truth that there is something more for us to create and to participate in. And we go forth in strength, in love, and in joy, in peace, knowing that we are free. And so